Good day, Pinoy Clicksters and Mixers. Welcome back to the channel. And for this video, as you can see, we're going to discuss and reflect on our Singapore Nationals 2024 Championship team. Let's go! Okay, so as you can see here, we are in hcunits.net in one of our teams, the one that we use for the recently concluded Singapore Nationals 2024. It's a modern 300-point team. And as you already know, I fortunately and luckily ended up as the champion for that particular tournament. Okay, so that being said, um, I would like to share with you my thoughts on and my team building mindset about this particular team that I used, and so that when you face against this, you have a better idea and probably a counter for this. So I don't know. I just want to discuss this because it's the first time I won in a major event. So I'm just glad. So anyway, so you can see here immediately that it does have the team has that TK from Saturnine and Scott Porter. Okay, the probability control from the Scott Porter, I think white shirt, Perplex from the Sinestro core ring and the Scott Porter. It does have an outwit, but that comes in from Scrappy Doo in the sideline and then leadership from the Butterfly. Okay, so main force we have one, two, three, four, five, six figures, and the superstar of this particular team, the golden star, the golden boy, is Colossus Prime. Okay, so and then we have Butterfly, Kong, Saturnine, and the two Scott Porter, making this ruler team. Okay, so before I proceed, let's take a look at the sideline. So we do have here Wonder Woman, Death Metal, Mern, Captain America, Scrappy Doo, Kazar as our character sideline, and we do have a bunch of tarot cards, Eight of Cups, Queen of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, and Ten of Cups as part of Saturnine's swapping of tarot. Okay, so what else? For the maps, we have the Sentinel Factory, Ultron's Lair, and Weapon X Lab. And we have for objects, coffin, machine, and large crate. Okay, so these are mostly blocking terrain. All are blocking terrain. And for the tarot deck, we have seven, the Hanged Man, Ten of Wands, Six of Pentacles, Three of Swords, Five of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, Four of Swords. Okay, so that's the team. So let me, uh, we also have some associated units here, the Butterfly Swarm, the terrains from Kong, the Trick Arrows. Okay, Trick Arrow, by the way, is equipped to Saturnine. Okay, Colossus has the motorcycle, and Scott Porter has the Sinestro ring. Okay, and then of course the construct, the yellow construct associated to the Sinestro core ring, and Zabu associated to Quasar. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at some of the figures and how the team works. Okay, so first and foremost, um, I'd like to mention again my thanks to Anton, okay, because this is his Colossus, so he lent it to me for this particular match. Okay, and of course, I also have to mention that the Sinestro core ring is also from Anton, okay, and for and Kennard, of course, for lending me Chiton and Scrappy Doo. Okay, sige. So let's go ahead. So Colossus, as I said, is the main attacker for this particular um this particular team. Okay, so I think by now everyone knows what Colossus do. Okay, so I played him at 80 points, full points, because he's just so hard to KO at that 80-point line. Okay, more so if you equip him with a motorcycle. Okay, so the motorcycle, I have always placed him on this one, the combat reflexes uh, link. Okay, because more than the combat reflexes, I wanted to use the special power. Special movement grants him free move up to 1 square, and more importantly, the ignore characters for movement. Okay, so that's critical because I want him to be able to move around when he's already engaging with someone. Okay, I can change target the next turn. I don't have to break away because of the improved movement character. Okay, so basically, Colossus will just charge in and then mind control. Okay, he doesn't do anything except that. Okay, I think there was an instance I had to use him regularly with the attack of 12. Okay, just to one shot someone. Okay, because 5 might not be enough. Okay, but I remember the Ghost Goblin. I needed like more than 5 damage to KO him, so I did not mind controls, but I I use an object attack, okay, so that the damage becomes 5, 6, or 7, and then with the knockback from the super strength will instantly KO that ghost goblin. Okay, so but most of the time he's just gonna be your tie-up piece. Okay, so most teams I played against have Mern, so the combat reflexes did not really matter because I cannot increase his combat values, but the improved movement character was the key. Okay, so that I can move him to tie up another figure and whatnot. Okay, so they have to attack Colossus because if they ignore him, then he will just go on and on with his charge mind control. Okay, so second figure that I had was Butterfly. Okay, so most of the time I would swap Butterfly with Mern. Okay, actually, not most of the time, all the time. The entire tournament, I swapped him with Mern. Okay, because I needed Mern's effect that opposing characters within 4 squares can positively modify their combat values. Okay, so if my opponent has Mern, then I will counter that with my own Mern so that they themselves cannot modify their combat values, making again the 20 of Colossus hard to hit. Okay, so which makes me wonder, perhaps there's a room to remove Wonder Woman, Captain America, and Kazar in this list of sideline. Okay, so perhaps you can put a War Machine in your sideline so that when Scott Porter 001 gets damaged, that War Machine comes out, or perhaps a mystery card might be placed here instead. Okay, so or I don't know. So, but Mern seems to be the obvious pick for the butterfly. Okay, so it's important though to note that the replacement of the butterfly should have a leadership. Okay, because the source of leadership is the butterfly. So if you swap him out, make sure that the replacement character has leadership, like Wonder Woman, Captain America, and Kazar, and of course, Mern himself has um, a leadership. Okay, so important to note that you can play Burn also defensively. Okay, so generating butterflies. Okay, I tend to generate butterflies if my opponent did not have a Kong. Okay, because if my opponent had a Kong, I want to keep my numbers at the minimum. Okay, so that the Kong opponent cannot do the 2 actions per turn. Okay, but if the enemy does not have Kong or does not have like Carnage Silver Surfer, then go ahead and generate all the butterflies. Where's that? All the here the butterfly swarm that you want. Okay, because this can be a good mastermind fodder. Okay, and this can also be a way for you to mind control a lot of opponents. In Mastermind, of course, because Saturnine here has a mastermind. Okay, so you can base the one of the butterfly swarm beside Saturnine to protect her a little. Okay, so the third figure is Kong. everyone knows about Kong, so I played him at 50 points. Yes, he did have an errata that he can only uh, what you call this? He can only reduce damage dealt by penetrating damage dealt by characters of equal or less point value than himself, but that is almost always usually the case. Okay, typically figures are 50 points. Okay, so and he does have a stat click even if he doesn't reduce anymore. The stat click still activates, and he himself can deal penetrating damage. So the errata limited the use of Kong for my opponents. I did not place. I only faced an opponent with Kong. Larry has two Kongs, and that's the only time I lost in the entire tournament. But my other opponents did not have a Kong, so um, that was very favorable in my matchup. Okay, what I did was simply attack first the higher point character with penetrating damage, so that they won't be able to matter against Kong. Okay, so that's Kong. Kong is Kong. Kong is king. Okay, and of course, we have the two Scott Porters. Everyone knows what this is. The white Scott Porter, of course, gives everyone +1 attack, and the perplex coming from the Sinestro core ring, and the possibility of generating the construct. Okay, honestly, I did not generate a lot of the constructs because it's my first time to use the construct in a major tournament. Okay, so I don't know the placing. I think I generated in one match the stop sign. Okay, and in another match I generated the cowboy boots for that free knockback. Okay, to KO Death Metal Wonder Woman. Okay, so another reason why I did not generate the construct was because I did not want the to have more characters on my team. It's because again, if I'm playing against another Kong, I want to limit my number of characters on the map. Okay, so and of course the Black Scott Porter is a bit defensive, +1 if you're sharing with the same keywords, and then you can also bump up the perplex. So this particular team has two perplex from both Scott Porters. Okay, and I would say finally my last character is Saturnine. Okay, so Saturnine is the quote unquote underdog character for my team. Okay, so um totally forgot that she has cosmic because I wasn't rolling that a lot until the top 8 matches. Okay. So but he is the underdog or the surprise element for my team. Okay, because as you can see, Saturnine has this particular stats. Okay, so 8 range, which is very long compared, meaning if you're on a short map of 16, 8 can really see almost everything. Okay, 11 attack and 1 damage. Okay, so what I did was I put Chiton into Saturnine. Okay, because Chiton gives +1 all combat values to a mystical character. Okay, so what basically happens, and then of course Saturnine has a trick arrow, so I don't really use the damage value of Saturnine because I use the effect of the trick arrow. Okay, so what happens is um, if I win the roll off, okay, I will choose to go first. Okay, first is always good because it means you get first hit. Okay, and what I'll do if I go first is I will just I have two choices. Okay, so what I usually do is uh I'll play defensive, actually a bit of defensive in terms of my my objects. Okay, I will put my objects on my end of the map, okay, to block off my opponents from coming into my side of the map. Okay, so that's what I do with my objects. So these are all blocking. So you can see here, I put them really close to each other just to make sure that it blocks the way to my side of the map. Okay, so And then what I'll do, I'll just pass the first turn. Okay, I'll either pass the first turn or I will double perplex the defense of Saturnine, okay, from the two Scott Porter, and then TK Saturnine, four squares with the black Scott. Okay, so meaning I'm asking my opponent, attack Saturnine if you want, because Saturnine has 18 plus 2, and then plus 1 from Chiton, so she has 21 defense. Okay, so if you can reach her 4 squares from my starting area, then go ahead. Okay, I have my prob from the white, I have my community prob, and of course, I have my bodyguards, the Kong and Colossus Prime. Okay, so you can KO my 35 point plus the trick arrow, I guess 45 point, but I will KO your attacker. Okay, so that's my mentality for Saturnine. Okay, and of course my opponent can also pass back or can move forward or whatnot. Then it goes back to my turn. Okay, then for my second turn, that's when Saturnine will do his job. Okay, so again, I'm playing defensive, and the beauty is, if my Saturnine is already 4 squares out, so that means she's on the fifth square on my side of the map, then she just needs 11 squares to reach the other end of the map. Okay, and since I swap out Butterfly with Mern, that means Saturnine can attack anyone with the same keyword of Mern. So because Mern removes the line of fire to opposing characters that share a keyword with Mern. Okay, and again, a lot of teams would have a monster in their team, cosmic in their team, animal if they're using Kong. Okay, and of course the white shirt porter have all the keywords that have all the keywords. So the white shirt porter is an automatic target for Saturnine. Okay, so I will because of because of Chiton, Saturnine already have 9 range. Okay, so but I still have double perplex. Okay, I can perplex the range of Saturnine to make it 11, and that makes her reach the entire the end of the map if my opponents did not move from his starting position. Okay, which again, it's already second turn, so he loses first turn immunity. So if my opponent already moved, then that means I don't need to perplex the range. So the two perplex will go to perplexing her attack. Okay, I need to perplex her attack because when I use the what you call this, the power of Mern, the opponents gain +1 defense. Okay, and that's actually negated by Chiton because Chiton gives +1 attack. Okay, so meaning the +2 of the +2 perplex would make my attack 13. Okay, and the beauty, of course, is I have my prob, I have my community prob, and Saturnine herself can increase or decrease an attack total by 1, okay, including herself. Okay, so meaning most of the defense would be, let's say, 20. So I would need 7 to roll, 6 actually, because I can increase by 1. So that is almost always a guaranteed hit for Saturnine. Okay, so and when Saturnine hits, again, what I'll do is not use her damage values, but use a trick arrow. Specifically, I would use the two dangerous trick arrow because again, it deals 3 damage to the chosen character and all other characters adjacent to them. Then afterwards, knock back each damage character. Very useful for the Scott Porters and other support pieces. If I really need to KO the equipments of my opponent, then I use the USB, okay, which is instead of normal damage, destroy an equipment equipped to each hit character. Okay, like I remember I chose this to KO Kmo's motorcycle. Okay, so that really helped my team in the long run. Okay, and the beauty about Saturnine is she has 3 bolts. Okay, so 3 bolts paired with USB means she's gonna destroy 3 equipped characters uh, at most. Okay, so and if not, then the Scott Porter will lose whatever. equipment he has. So that's an automatic, again, in a sense, point for you. So that's what I do. So I would end my turn with that. Okay, again, I would just have Saturnine attack. Okay, and then probably generate a butterfly and base it to Saturnine for Mastermind. Okay, so but the rest of the team will just be repositioned afterwards. Okay, so and that would typically be the case. I would next turn I would use Scott Porter's heal one, okay, because Chiton would damage Saturnine afterwards. So at the beginning of my next turn, I will use the heal one from Scott Porter, and then do the same trick with Saturnine. Shoot again with another trick arrow effect. Okay, so that would usually force my opponent to move forward, but when they move forward, Colossus Prime is waiting for them. I can TK Colossus Prime with the black shirt and then do his mind control, or again, the Kong can do his thing. Kong usually carrying Mern just to make sure that they don't have any modifiers. Okay, so that's how I do it. If I go first in the match. If I go second, then it's almost the same actually. Okay, but I would probably move up my Colossus. Okay, so that they can target Colossus if they want to. I'll move him up in the middle, perplexing his defense. Okay, so KO Colossus if you can in one turn. That's my challenge to my opponents. If because if you don't KO him, I'll probably just move him back and support him with Scott Porter and heal one from Scott Porter Black, and then I'll do again my Saturnine trick, and yeah, it turned out to be a great combination for my team. Okay, I also wanted to raise a few things. Where's that one? The Five of Pentacles. Not that one. The where is it? Three of Swords. No, not that one. So I don't remember all my tarot card. This one, the Six of Pentacles is one of the best tarot cards for my team because this allows when a character uses mind control after resolutions, they may deal their printed damage value divided between all hit targets. Okay, and uh that pairs well with the Colossus Prime. Okay, because Colossus Prime also had a similar trait. Okay, so this trait activates, and then that tarot cards activates also. So whenever I pull this particular Six of Pentacles tarot card, it's my go signal that I should attack with Colossus. Okay, so I always make sure that Colossus is as one action token. Okay, because just in case that tarot card appears in the next turn. Okay, so that's how I do. That's how I use my tarot cards here. Okay, so the other tarot cards really did not come into play a lot. Okay, this mastermind, I guess for Saturnine, but it most of the time it did not matter because my figures anyway are close to each other. Okay, so but the most important for me was that Six of Pentacles. Okay, so again, that's it for my team. I hope you learned a little something. And what do you guys think? What are some improvements you can share for this particular team? And other comments, please share it in the below. And until the next team building tournament. Bye bye.